All right, welcome back to Psychology of Golf. Dr. Mark P. Otten back with you from Cal State Northridge. This is a special video. I'm going to have a two-part series here. Just thought it would be fun to make these videos. First one, the 9 most scary golf holes, not courses, but holes in Southern California. The second one's going to be the 9 most fun. So first of all, let's talk about the psychology of fear. Well, this is more like the psychology of anxiety. Fear and anxiety are different things, but they go together often. If you're scared of something, then you're going to feel anxious about it. Almost always. So there's a cool study here. I've talked a little bit about appraisal of arousal symptoms on this channel, in case you didn't know. The research study here is about trying to reappraise this feeling that you might get from playing a golf or just even looking at appraising a hole on a golf course. You walk up to the tee box, you look at it, and you try to make a game plan. Or you look at it and you get really, really anxious. Or you might get excited. And so in this study, this is one of my research studies that I assigned to my sports psychology class to read. Basically, they found that it's hard to calm down when you're feeling these things. So if you're walking up to the tee box, let's say you're a professional golfer, and not only is it a challenging looking hole, but you're in contention to win some money or maybe even the tournament. That's a situation that calls for psychological arousal, and then you can interpret that how you wish, and I've talked a little bit about how the interpretation of it is key. And so in this case, if you are feeling this thing, this increased arousal level, you could go toward anxiety or fear, or you could go toward excitement. And so there's some training methods for that. We can train for okay, you're walking up to this hole. How are you going to feel? If you plan for it, if you make do some mental game planning, maybe some imagery, maybe some goal setting, then you're going to be in better shape when you walk up to a tee box and think, oh my God, how many bunkers is that? 10? So this list is the list of 9 holes that got to me the most over the course of the last few years. So here's the rules that got to me in terms of I was unable oftentimes to reappraise these holes as exciting instead of scary or hazardous. So the main things I look for are narrow targets and hazards. I'm not scoring this or ranking these holes based as much on distance. For me, I'm usually playing blue tees, 6,000 to maybe 6,500 yards if you're thinking about it that way. And I'm at my handicap over the last few years has been 7 to 10, ranging in that area overall. So that's me. But the hazards and the narrow targets, those could exist for anybody at any skill level. The distance you can move up and back based on the tee box, right? Which tees you select and everything. Usually that you can, if there's a 7 million yard hole, you can move up a little bit, play from the forward tees or whatever. But you can't do anything about a narrow target or a hazard or a series of hazards, bunkers, out of bounds, water. All these things are the things that I think, if I were to be advising a golfer, those are the things that psychologically mess you up a little bit more than just a hole with long yardage. So that's what I'm looking for here. And then in terms of Southern California, obviously, I have not played every course in Southern California. I'm excluding the Coachella Valley, that's Palm Springs area, because there's just so many golf courses over there, and I've only played a couple of them. So this is Santa Barbara, Ventura County, LA County, Orange County, down to San Diego, and then Riverside County and San Bernardino. Pretty much, something like that. If you're watching this from some other place in the world, Southern California doesn't just have scary golf courses. It has really nice golf courses of all kinds, and also of all price point. You can play for cheap. You can play a 9-hole course. You can play a cheap public course. You can play a more expensive one. You can play a private course if you get an invitation or you're a member. So lots of variety. Yes, LA County courses tend to get crowded, but if you do it the way I do it, you play for like a twilight round, just play 9 holes when fewer golfers are out there. There's ways to make it work. So I'm going to show you the 9 holes here, and I'm going to feature a few of each of those types of courses, cheaper, more expensive, and a couple of private ones in there. Also, I used Google Earth here to show you what the holes look like. The 3D Google Earth feature, check it out if you haven't done that before. It's kind of cool. There are a couple of holes here where I do have actual footage of me playing the hole, so I'll show you that as well. So let's get into it. The first one is maybe my personal favorite, Lake Lindero in Agoura Hills, California, a 9-hole course. It's got a few par 4s on there. On their layout, but this par 3 5th hole, 196 yards, super narrow, creek on the left, out of bounds weeds on the right, the whole time. Bunkers around the green. If you go long, you're also in trouble. There's no answer. For me, on this day, they moved the tees a little bit forward, so I was hitting 5-iron. Normally, I have to consider hitting a fairway wood. This, however, I think was the shot of the day for me because I was able to keep it straight, and I ended up just short of the green here. You can see, as I freeze it, you can see how narrow it is. I mean, just to the right there is the bunker, and then you can see the creek. It just falls off really quickly on the left. So the good news for this chip is that there's a ridge in the middle of the green, so even if I'd flown it long, which I didn't do, it probably would funnel back down. And then I think I was able to save par here. Whew, this is a good par. Number 1 scary hole in the golf course, and yeah, let's get it done. Okay, by the way, that was my account of playing that hole a couple years ago. Number 8, Anaheim Hills Golf Course. Hole number 2, oh, there's a couple of them on this course, but hole number 2 is super narrow, par 4. Trees on the right, trees on the left. If you go long on the green, it's out of bounds. If you go right, it's out of bounds. If you go left, it's out of bounds. These small targets, that's the thing that I'm noticing here in places where I've struggled. That's a challenging course. DeBell, number 7, Burbank, California, hole number 8. Boy, there's a few I could have chosen on this course as well. Hole number 8 is a par 5. It might be a scoring opportunity for some, but it's up against this hill. If you hit it into the hill, you're out of bounds. If you hit it to the left of the fairway, you're also out of bounds. The green is super small. There's slope in that green too. Man, this one's a challenge. Industry Hills is number 6. Industry Hills, of course, if you've been there, has 36 holes. This is the Babe course, hole number 3. Par 4, and there's water on the right, and then there's water again on the right. And the dog leg kind of goes around that water hazard to a green that's very well hidden. Of course, if you go left to avoid the water, you've got a row of trees that might get in your way. I have made some big numbers on this particular hole. Of course, I've done that on all these holes, otherwise they wouldn't make the list, but oh man. Tough course. Tough couple of courses at Industry Hills. Mount Woodson. What? This is East San Diego County. And it's a par 3 hole, the 3rd hole that is completely by itself. Look at it on the diagram there. Completely separated from the rest of the course. It's so cool. You have to it's a golf cart ride from hole 2 for sure. Just isolated up against the hill with no forgiveness again. There's really nowhere to go in that hole. Same thing with Woodland Hills Country Club, which I played recently. Private course. Hole number 15, par 3. Again, it's an amazing par 3 cut into the hill, just like that last one was. And this one, you just got nowhere to go. Bunker in the back, steep drop off in the front, not much room on the sides. These par 3s are tough. They are tough. Hole number 15, a par 3, 148 yards. a huge drop in front of the green, a bunker in back of the green, no room on the sides. Oh my gosh, it was such a small target, but also such a cool visual that I gave it fun rating number 2. And I managed to make it onto the green with my 8-iron and nearly make birdie and settle for par. Whew, that was a relief. But man, they just really built that hole into the hillside in such a cool way. Okay, that was my account of playing that hole recently at Woodland Hills Country Club. Angeles National makes the list, and number 3. Angeles National is a fearsome golf course, especially if you play it from the further back, the black tees. Hole number 8's a par 5 with water on the left, and there's bushes all along the back of the green, and then like there's this one that juts out in front of the green to the right of it. I always hit the ball in there, I feel like. Hole number 2 on the list, Ojai Valley Inn, another par 3. This one, I'm just gonna show you the visuals here. Look at all those bunkers, and you're gonna see my shot here in a second, my actual footage of playing this hole. All right, check it out. I'm gonna freeze this. This is the looking to the south again towards Ventura. You've got all those bunkers in front, and you've got this green. It's almost like a V shape situation where the back of the green, there's nothing there. It like just falls off into nothing. And the front, you've got a lot of, it's the open part of the V, but you've got those bunkers. So you don't want to go short. You don't want to go long. If anything, going in a bunker is better here than going long, because long, there's just nothing. It's just gone, most likely. The left side, you fall off into the creek, the trees, out of play. The right side is a fence and then a road. So there is no safe play here except if you're okay going short into a bunker. The only thing I'll say is you could play this as a 2-shot hole if you wanted. I've done this before. You hit like a pitching wedge 100 yards, and then you hit another pitching wedge 100 yards. You could do that because there's space in front of the bunker. So if you're just trying to make bogey on the scariest hole in the golf course, I won't be mad at that, because in this hole, it's just, I mean, there's so much in your visual space to mess you up. But at the same time, look at that view. It's so cool. You're 50 yards, I don't know, maybe not 50 yards, 30 feet above the hole, something like that. And you feel like you've got views all around. There's even a view behind me to the mountains on the north side. Whew. Ojai Valley Inn. All right, let's look at what I did here. Just trying to I'm not laying up. I'm trying to hit a normal 5-wood, and it stayed straight. Oh my God, wow. I got so excited. It stayed straight, and it was a green in regulation on the scariest hole in the golf course. I felt like at that point, I wanted to just go home. So it's like mission accomplished. And sure enough, I probably should have, because my putting here left something to be desired. That's an uphill followed by a downhill. I was scared to leave it on the uphill, so I hit it too hard, and then I left myself with a ton of work coming back. So this is going to be a 3-putt. Green in regulation, scariest hole in the course, and no reward, a 3-putt. Oh well. Okay, so we have arrived at number 1 on the list. So, I mean, first of all, people might have different criteria about what might constitute a scary or anxiety-provoking hole in golf that you're unable to turn into excitement. It might not be a small target or a hazard that scares you, but for me it is. Those are the things that I look out for, and I can still learn from as far as like how to approach these holes. But the smallest target, and I wasn't out there with a tape measure, but the smallest target in terms of a green in Southern California, or at least that's the way it felt, that's the one I picked for number 1. There's no bunkers, there's no water, but if you go long on this hole, you're toast. If you go short on this hole, you're toast. If you go right on this hole, you're toast. And if you go left, you're probably toast. It's a green that I feel like you could walk 3 steps and go from the front to the back. There's a little bit of width to it, but it's pretty much green or out of bounds on this hole. The funny thing is that it's only 108 yards, something like that. And sometimes they push the tee forward a little bit. So how is that so scary? Well, let's take a look. Scholl Canyon Golf Course in Glendale, California. On the back nine, there's a couple holes that are built into the hillside. It's actually a really cool back nine and really affordable too. This course is mostly par threes, great for practice and great for scaring yourself, because on the back side of the course you got this hill and you got that tee box I was talking about. And look at the size of that green. It looks like the size of a peanut. At least that's the way it feels. And you've got no forgiveness at all, except maybe on the left side, but probably not. All right, so tell me, give me, like, comment, send me feedback, tell me I'm wrong, or put a hole down in the comments that has been the one that has gotten you in the past. I promise that if I play another hole in the future that scares me more than one of these 9, then I will make a video about it. How about that? And, you know, some of these fancier golf courses, like let's say Riviera Country Club, haven't played that one. Los Angeles Country Club, haven't played that one. If, you know, if somebody from one of those clubs, if you're watching, want to invite me out, you know, I'll play it, and then maybe I'll add a hole to this list. Just saying.